Hello, welcome to A Delicious Mess from the Suffolk Public Library. I'm Elyssa. I created this series so that everyone could get a chance to use our library resources, local favorite makers, and our own homes to create something delicious. Today, we're going to start with a simple yeast bread. I've begun by putting on an apron, washing my hands, and making sure I have all the tools I need. I have my measuring spoons, dry measuring cups, a liquid measuring cup, and a thermometer that is optional, but it helps so that you have your water at the right temperature for your yeast. And then I mix in a bowl and then use an oiled bowl to let my dough rise for the first rise. And for the second rise, it goes into loaf pans. For this simple recipe, you want 2 cups of warm water, and you want it to be under 120 degrees. Around 110 is ideal. And you're gonna have 1/4 cup of sugar total, but you're gonna wanna put about a tablespoon of that sugar into your warm water to proof your yeast for a couple of minutes before you start mixing your liquid into your dry ingredients. So now I have my 2 cups of water with a little bit of yeast. I'm going to put 1.5 tablespoons of yeast into this water and leave it to proof. For about 2 minutes will do. Wait until it's frothy and looks like it's grown, it's active. Our other ingredients, besides the yeast, the water, and the sugar, are 5 to 6 cups of flour. And for this recipe, I'm using all-purpose flour, but you can use bread flour. A little bit of salt, and some low flavor oil. I'm using canola oil. You can use vegetable oil, anything with a low flavor. So I'm letting my yeast proof in my warm water, and I have the rest of my sugar in this bowl. So now I'm going to measure out my salt, my flour, and my oil. So I'm starting to put my dry ingredients into my mixing bowl. And I've actually got about 1/2 cup of sugar. And I'm gonna start with 5 cups of flour, evened off at the top. And if I need a 6th, if it is too sticky when I'm mixing, I'll add that 6th cup of flour. I got interested in all the different ways to make bread when I realized that as long as I had flour, sugar, water, salt, and yeast in my home, I would be able to make bread for sandwiches or rolls to go with a bowl of soup. And it can be very relaxing to mix it up all by yourself. And you can add extra things however you want so that you can make the flavors what you like. Maybe with cinnamon to make it a sweet bread, or with herbs like rosemary, or a little bit of hard cheese mixed into your dough. You can make it your own, and you can make it taste very special for you. Just makes a mess, a delicious mess. The library has a lot of books about making bread and cooking other things available, and you can pull them up on the library's website and request them for curbside pickup anytime. I'm going to post a list of some of our bread cookbooks right here on the screen. Comment in the comment section what you'd like to learn more about cooking or baking. I'm ready to add my liquids. I've got a 1/4 cup of vegetable oil and my water with my proof yeast in it. See how it's gotten foamy to show that it's alive and active. And what I'm gonna do is make a little well in the center of my dry ingredients and just put my liquid right in there. So I've got my water, flour, sugar, salt, oil, and yeast. And then you can just dig in with your hands. And for this particular recipe, you really want to spend about 7 minutes kneading it. So I'm gonna take my time to knead this and let you know that also on our library website, we have tools for universal class. And I started doing the baking universal class, which covers a lot of the different tools you can use in your kitchen to make your cooking more complicated or simpler or more fun. All right, everyone. I've been kneading for about my 7 minutes, and I actually added in that last extra cup of flour so that it wasn't too sticky. What I'm gonna do is oil the bowl that I'm gonna let it rise in. And what I do is I've got my ball of dough. I'm gonna put it into my rising bowl and coat the dough with oil. And then I like to put this in a warm place, like next to my oven with a damp tea towel over it. And you're gonna let it rise for about an hour. Through the magic of television, I'm back with my first rise. And I punch the dough down, and then I'm gonna sort of turn it in on itself and split it into two as I knead it for about a minute. And then I will roll each loaf out to a bit of a rectangle, fold it onto itself and pinch that together, and fold each end in so that the layers are closed. And then I will put it into my well-oiled loaf pan and set it on top of my oven that's heated at 350 degrees so that it can rise for another half an hour before I bake it. Our second rise was about 30 minutes. So now we're gonna put it into the oven at 350 degrees for 30 to 40 minutes until it's a golden brown and sounds hollow on the inside. You check and it's nice and brown on top, you tap it. And if it sounds hollow on the inside, it's done. If you don't hear it hollow, let it go a couple more minutes. After baking for between 30 and 40 minutes at 350 degrees, I've got this beautiful white bread. Put a little butter and some cheese on it. It's delicious. Now who's gonna clean up my mess?